intensive drums. What up?
Boom, boom,
This is Bring
boom,
the Heat
boom.
Podcast. We are your hosts. I got Bashar right next to me, right here. I got Mariah right below us, and I am Ryan from No Borders Sports, and we appreciate you guys tuning in today. What is going on, everyone?
What up? What up? Good to see you guys.
Just celebrating a Victory Tuesday.
Finally.
I know, right?
Damn it. It's been a long time coming. We deserve
Right.
this.
John LaJoy says, "Hey Ryan, did I shout out on my podcast, your podcast today? And thank you, appreciate you giving us a shout out. And everybody, if you're watching, make sure to go check out John LaJoy on his podcast, which I'm guessing is John LaJoy 49ers. Make sure to check him out. We got Brian Culp in the house. What's up, Brian Culp?
That's not Brian Cole.
That's Bebop.
That's Bebop Peroni.
It's
Bebop
Sorry,
Peroni Pepperoni.
I saw the B and I was like, oh, it's Brian Culp. And it wasn't. Sorry, Bebop.
That's
And then we got
pepperoni.
Pepperoni. Then we got Bashar in the house.
We got
Literally,
Bashar.
he's in the house. Wow. Let's just talk about a little bit of emotions about how you felt after the game. Mariah, please let me know your feelings, the big breath and release afterwards that you had, and anything else.
Feels pretty fucking great, baby. Man, like I was expecting, obviously, we gave our score predictions last week. I was expecting this game to be a lot closer. So, pretty much during the entire game, it was a breath of fresh air. It seemed like, our offense showed up, our defense showed up, our special team showed up, the coaching staff showed up. Finally, everybody seemed like they are working together. So yeah, it felt great. It was nice to finally have a victory Monday, victory Tuesday, a victory week. Like I said, it's a long time coming, and we deserve this because we've had a long last month of losing. And it was nice that the 49ers finally get back on the winning side of football.
Yeah, big time.
Right.
I mean, to see Brock Purdy out there, have probably a career game, 3 touchdowns, 296 yards. I mean, he was just making really, really nice throws. I can't say nothing more. I mean, his escapability out of the pocket. I mean, our line, if there was a thing that we could talk about that was bad about the game was the pass protection was pretty crappy, but we still found ways to get plenty of yards through the air despite that. And we had some good yards on the ground too with CMC. All the doubt with Purdy, it's crazy. And it's worse when it comes from Niner fans. I supported Trey Lance as much as I could. And I was really pumped up to see what Trey Lance could do. At the end of the day, we just stumbled upon a different opportunity, and the coaches did with Purdy, and Purdy stepped right in and did things that veterans do. They threw the kitchen sink at Purdy in that Miami Dolphins game, the very first game he stepped in, and he just made completed passes like it was nothing. So I mean, when you have a guy that steps in and does things that veterans do, I mean, he's eventually going to be the starting quarterback. As much as you want to see an up and coming starter possibly blossom, and take over, it just wasn't going to happen. I mean, Purdy was already ready right then and there, and Purdy to me looks better than he did last year. I thought Purdy maybe, had a limited ceiling, and a lot of people did, but because he wasn't drafted high or whatever, and doesn't have elite physical traits, but he's showing to me that he's made improvements upon what he did last year. So I mean, he's airing the ball downfield. They put up plenty of stat lines that he's getting more big time throws this year than he did last year. For those of us to say that he was a dink and dunk guy, I mean, he's obviously not a dink and dunk guy. And it's just crazy that some of these guys who supported Trey along the way and really, really want Trey to do well aren't happy that we have a quarterback that's doing great things for us. And they were happy. They were like, "Oh, see, Purdy shit the bed in those games. Oh, well, why do we got this guy here? He sucks." Rather than say like, "Hey, he's only 23 years old and his body of work so far, So if he's got 28 touchdowns and 9 interceptions in 14 games total played so far. That's more than 3 times the touchdown interception ratio. So I mean, usually when Jimmy G was playing, another quarterbacks playing in the league, they have a 2-to-1 ratio in touchdowns interceptions. So Purdy's I think he's doing really well, and he might get better from here on out. He's only 23, man. So
exactly. Yeah, it seems like some. Oh, sorry. I was going to say real quick. It seems like some fans, I don't know, content creators, people, 49ers people in general, like, I don't know if it's like a biasness but it's like they wanted to be right about Trey Lance so bad that they won't even enjoy Brock Purdy now. It's like they won't enjoy the winning. They're not enjoying the, everything that Purdy's doing. And it's just like, it's unfortunate, because if you're a fan of the 49ers, that should be what comes first, right? Like, you should be happy that your team's winning, that, we finally have a quarterback that is consistently good, like, yeah, we don't know if he's elite yet. We don't know if he's going to be, the next Joe Montana, but what we do know is that he's pretty damn great right now, so like, why not enjoy it? Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Tops in the league in QBR and quarterback rating, either way you slice it. So,
yeah, people need to kind of come down off of a cliff about things. Like, I was a big Trey supporter, one of the biggest out there. You know what I mean? Ride and die. Once he wasn't on the team, it's not like he's dead to me. I hope he has a great career. I hope he does great things. But right now, I got to concentrate on the 49ers, and he's not one. It's unfortunate.
Exactly.
But going forth, this is what you got to do. Like when he had those 3 weeks where he was kind of shitting the bed a little, Brock Purdy, people were getting down his throat. And I'm like, look, I was willing to let this happen if Trey was in there.
Exactly.
Brock Purdy and Trey are both in that 3-year window. Wait, no. Sorry. Well, kind of. Trey never got any time, so there's no window. But a rookie, I give a rookie 3 years when they're starting. Okay, that's the rule of thumb. It's not like me. I took that from somebody else. Don't think I'm out there saying this is Ryan's quote. This is Ryan's
commenting in the NFL,
right? So right now, this was in his 3-year window. You got to chill out. You got to let things play out. Now, if he turns his 3 games into a 9 game, that's when you need to start freaking out a little bit, okay? But 3 games, especially when the whole rest of the team minus the fucking punter is doing the same thing, shit in the bed. So, you know what I mean? If he was on point, it's going to be hard for him to even be good with everybody else shit in the bed at random moments when he needs them to be elite. So people just need to pump the brakes. You know what I mean? Worry about the things that they can actually put a finger on that we didn't know what was wrong. 49ers figured out what was wrong, and it looks like they might have fixed it. Who knows if it can fall off again, because it fell off in the middle of fucking nowhere. We were cruising. We just beat the Dallas breaks off the Dallas Cowboys mid-season. Let me get all up in there. And then what happened? Next week there's just shit in the bed. There's shit in the bed. I don't know if you know, but I'm pointing to my bed right now.
I hope there's no shit in it.
Not right now. What was
nice though, because during those first 5 weeks we were winning, and we know winning, hides everything. But those first 5 weeks, our offense was rolling, but the defense didn't seem right through the whole time. Like, I was never happy with the performance that the defense had given us. And yet yesterday or Sunday, 2 days ago, whatever day it is now, the defense looked like 49ers fucking defense was actually back, so
right.
I just don't see, hopefully, obviously I could be wrong and they could fall off and turn into dog shit again. But I hope now that it seems like all phases are actually rolling. Whatever happened with the coaching staff seemed to work. It seems like everybody's together now. So hopefully they can keep it going and don't just fall off a cliff in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Can we give a shout out to James Durnall of the UK?
What's up, James? And
You
yeah,
see it in the chat.
I like that last comment that he said.
Yeah, you should put his comment up.
So true.
He's talking about Purdy.
Yeah, he said he shit the bed and still dropped 17 points. If that is his floor, I'm happy. Jimmy has had much worse games.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he sure has.
Yep.
And we've seen better games out of Purdy. Like, okay, maybe we haven't seen a 49-point game like Jimmy had that one time, but we've seen multiple 30-plus point games out of Brock Purdy when that's not a thing that we got out of Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of those 30 defense. We had to have the defense hold them to below 20, and we'd have to win by like 27-29. You know what I mean? Like, it was not pretty. Go ahead, Bashar.
And a lot of those 30-point games, there were plenty of times where we could have scored a whole lot more, maybe due to penalties or just stupid mistakes or just the fact that we took our foot off the gas, you know. So yeah, I mean, sky's the limit. Purdy's looking really, really nice, man. I mean, look, some people complain and say, "Oh, I had Niner fans tell me, oh, well, he's good, but he's never going to be elite, and he's never going to win us number 6. I want elite. I want better. I'd rather have C.J. Stroud and then he's like naming all these elite quarterbacks. Well, I mean, like I admire Josh Allen and his talent and all that, but I mean, the guy's 5-5 right now. He lost the other night. I mean, like a lot of these elite quarterbacks that are supposed to be dogs and big time quarterbacks aren't necessarily doing so much better than Purdy has. So I'm happy with what we have for now. And I think as long as the team plays, plays 49er football, we all know what 49er football looks like. We could beat anybody. I seriously think we can. So
in the second preseason game, we saw Trey Lance really move the ball down the field really efficiently, real quick. And that was, to me, is some of the best I've seen the 49ers scheme look since Kyle Shanahan's been here. It was just, we're getting down the field, we're moving the ball. There was a lot of passes, back-to-back passes, but it was moving. You know what I mean? And I really liked that. I was like, man, that's one of the reasons why I was so depressed when they kicked Trey Lance to the curb to position number 3. I was like, man, he's showing good promise there. But since then, we've seen Brock Purdy essentially do the same thing consistently through games. Not just a moment or a drive. It's been multiple drives in a game, stringing them along, and that's how you get 30-plus point wins. You know what I mean? And yeah, he fell off. But at the same time, we hadn't seen a production of an offense like this that looked so good. The offense looked fucking great, and there's still mistakes that could be fixed, but it looked great because they were moving the ball down the field efficiently, almost seemed like at will, which it should be with the scheme and the stars that we got on the team.
And coming off a major injury too, a lot of people forget that. We said because earlier, training camp, I get it. Purdy was throwing interceptions and all that in training camp, and there were doubts. Is he going to be the same guy he was last year? He had a severe elbow injury or whatever, and now you look at him, he made that freaking Kittle throw down the sidelines, probably 30 yards in the air, maybe perhaps. Great throw down the sidelines with accuracy, with some pretty damn good power, considering the fact that he couldn't put his body into the throw. The pocket was collapsed on that play. He could not. All he could do was just put his arm in the throw and nothing else. It was more than enough arm strength on the play. The accuracy there, the timing was there. Bingo, touchdown.
I don't know if Randy's throwing shade with the elite Brock Purdy there, but elite Brock Purdy and Niners were injured and tired 3 games, 14 days. We'll do that, especially traveling across country. That's why why are we traveling? Why weren't we staying? Why weren't
we could have stayed in between. We played the Browns, the Vikings back-to-back, both were road games. It would have been nice had we stayed somewhere on the East Coast. I know they've done that a few times. We stayed in Canton, Ohio, here and there, and then South Carolina at the Greenbrier. Like they could have worked something out to stay on the road rather than go back to Santa Clara.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't.
I would have probably stayed where I was for 2 weeks and then flown out like the last night and gone to because I would have just been staying in the same practice thing. Everybody got your thing all ready to go. We're going to have to go to a new place in the stadium anyways. Well, for the most part, new place in the stadium. So might as well just keep the practice facilities all the same. Let's just keep the sleeping facilities all the same, whatnot. Let's just go fly out bang. It's not like you're not, the time change won't be as drastic. You know what I mean? Because it's essentially a lateral move to me. So
There's
right.
Bryant now.
There we go.
Colt.
Bryant, I said hi
Boy.
to you earlier, but you were Bebop. So
What's up, BC?
now that you're here, I want to know what is elite and where there any elite kickers in the league. What is elite? Well, the first thing I'm going to go as far as elite is they're going to be at the top of whatever group they might be in. I would say that, right? Does anybody else? Let's say this, not just for kickers, but in position. What elite? What traits are elite? Mariah?
Well, it all depends what position they play. Obviously, size matters, height, strength. I mean, it all depends what they fucking, Are we talking about a quarterback? Are we talking about, like a position group?
Elite, you could talk about, like somebody's attention to detail.
It's not my job. I don't get paid millions of dollars to find elite traits in humans. So, I really don't know.
Okay.
That's okay, Rag.
You got anything?
Elite traits. I mean, like, the top player, probably like top 5 in the league at their positions, usually elite, so to speak. You can look at quarterbacks, wide receivers. Mariah mentioned the height, the weight, and obviously you can have the speed factor among many position groups. So, like, look at our linebackers, Fred Warner and Greenlaw. They finally look like themselves again. They were definitely elite. They've been elite for quite some time. They looked elite this past Sunday. So that's another example. Bosa and Chase Young looked pretty elite this past Sunday, man. If you guys want to talk about that. I was on with Terradome earlier today, and Gavin Brown was on with us, and he made a good name. He said the Buckeye bookends.
There you go.
Yeah, it's good.
The Slayer twins. I don't know. Mariah.
What's up, Randy, by the way?
Do you have a kicker that you think is elite in the league? Who?
Yeah, the Ravens kicker.
Tucker?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Tucker. Yeah.
Bashar, you got anybody else besides Tucker?
She took it from me. That's a pretty damn good kicker. And that team, despite the fact that they lost, they do scare me a bit too. But,
I think
it was good to see him lose.
They better not ruin my Christmas either, those assholes.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tucker is probably the best kicker in the league.
Yeah.
And he missed.
Are you sure it's not Young Ho Koo?
Young Ho Koo's probably young. He's probably 2. I like that guy. I like that guy.
I remember back when he first came in the league and everybody said he sucked. And they made fun of him, made fun of his name and all that. And now he's doing pretty well. So,
not only do I like to see a little diversity out there, you know what I mean? Like as far as getting inclusive with other people from all around, but he got a great attitude. That there's also, you remember the punter from the Steelers who kicked the ball in I think it was the first game of like the 2001 season. It was the Hall of Fame game in preseason, like the one they play like a week into preseason. This guy punted the ball and it just like dropped on the like 1 foot yard line and it just stayed there. And I was like, this guy's the shit.
Speaking of punters,
it was a monster. Yeah.
We may not have an elite kicker, but it looks like we have an elite punter in Wisnowski.
Yeah, he's looking good this season, man.
And look, with that, props for Mitch, which he totally deserves. We also got to give credit to the rest of his team because it doesn't matter if you get those precise kicks if you don't got guys getting down there and downing it before it travels in the end zone. So shout out to everybody on the punt coverage team. You guys are
hopefully we're getting somebody back soon that helps a lot with that as well as Womack.
Some Womack, baby.
Oh, Womack. Yeah, I want maybe Womack's not back to football speed, so that's why they held off on activating him. But hopefully that's their only hang up with him, and once he does get back to football speed, we get him back in the lineup And it just brings us a whole lot more, depth at that position. And yeah, he could possibly be our starting nickel. And they could probably move Lenore back to corner. And we had what's his name, Ambry Thomas fill in. I mean, he had his moments. He was a little shaky here and there from time to time, but if the Jags only put up 3 points, hey, I'm for it. It looked a lot better than having Oliver out there.
When I seen he was starting on the outside, I was worried. I'm not gonna lie, but man, like you said, not allowing when I saw that and that he was starting, and then if you were gonna tell me they were not gonna score a touchdown the entire game, I think we could all be happy with Ambry's performance.
And I would like to kind of pump everybody's brakes on Ambry, because I feel he's going to have the same kind of ups and downs as Diamador Lenore did, because once they figure out he's the weak link, everybody's going to go to his side, and he's going to have to battle through it. And I feel deep down inside that he's got it, because he could have gone into his shell this last year after essentially just being non-existent for this last couple of years, and he didn't. He hit the track running. He came back. He's been better. He's made improvements. He's really trying to get at this shit. So I'm gonna rock with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna bust your ass when most people would just go into their own little cave and go into be depressed about it, and I wasn't given this, the guy who was drafted a couple rounds later than me's got my position. It's none of that. He knows he's got to prove it. He's out there doing it. So I'm gonna ride with them through the bumpy parts, because it's coming. It's coming. Get ready for it. There's gonna be some bumps. But
Randy always is so freaking angry. Damn.
Is it this one right here?
Yeah.
Well, I know he was mad, but I know he was hating on Nick Bosa.
We can say somebody didn't play like trash. Like, the guy had an interception. I guess that don't count for anything. He scored a touchdown that was called back because our team on the sidelines is too fucking stupid to follow the damn rules.
That was a great fumble.
But I guess that doesn't count for anything.
He forced a fumble, recovered it, and it was pretty much a fucking touchdown. Had Kyle Shanahan not fucking walked on the field, and him and other players followed his lead. I felt bad for him, but at the end of the day, I kind of felt good about it too, though, because it allowed Purdy to pad his stats a bit. But Debo actually scored the touchdown on the ensuing drive. But it padded Purdy's stats up. I wanted Purdy to have a big game, but yeah, I mean, you know what? I'm happy that Ambry made the play, though. It tells me that despite the fact that he had some bumps and bruises early in his career, and people were shitting on him, that he's shown that he could bounce back and get his confidence back. So.
Yeah. Yep. If you're going to be understanding about Brock shit in the bed for 3 games and the rest of the team shit in the bed for 3 games, you're going to have to be ready for Ambry to drop some things. But we got to understand that Ambry is still young to this. It's not like he's a vet. Like, I personally think that Wilkes is at stake for what he put Oliver in the position to do. I don't think I think Oliver probably better suited as a safety.
He looks like a safety.
He wants to come up and lay that wood on people. You can see that there's a passion about hitting somebody. You know what I mean? Which I appreciate. I'm not going to say that I'm mad about that. I'm just saying let's maybe plan to use him in different scenarios. You know,
he looks like a box safety, but we already got other guys, Hufanga. So it's like,
yeah, we got like 3 of the same. Well, 2 of the same guys.
Jair Brown that we never play.
Yes. Oh, yes. Well, we kind of covered a lot there in that first little segment.
And how about sideline Steve? What do you guys think about him being on the sidelines? And because a lot of people were saying it's not going to make a difference. Doesn't matter if he change whatever position he's at, whether the booth or sidelines, none of that make a difference. But I thought it made it just seeing him out there with the players and talking to the DBs all the time and looking more emotionally involved. I think that helped.
Yeah, I love it. And we saw, like, it seemed like obviously they were making a point, the cameraman and whatnot, to, catch things and see what he was doing on the sidelines and whatnot, right? But, most of the time when the camera would pan to him, like, he's there talking up the players, he's going over plays, so, I mean, it was good. obviously we know he's not the big rah guy like, D'Amico and Salah, but I mean, he had plenty enough energy, I think.
And
A
you
lot
don't
more
have to
energy,
be a
obviously,
cheerleader.
than him up in the freaking booth.
Exactly. He doesn't have to be a cheerleader. He just has to communicate with players and talk
Did
about
you
what the
see
hell is
him?
going on up there.
Did you see him chewing Travarius Ward out at any point in time?
I saw him talking. I mean, I saw him talking up Tarvarius after he made a play. I didn't see him chewing him out.
I swear I saw the time where they were like, where the bench is and whatnot, and it looked like Wilkes was yelling at Travarius or talking to him sternly. And I said this on Ted's show, but if you notice in the afterwards, they were asking the players, what did you think of the defensive players? What did you think about Steve Wilkes on the sideline? Pretty much everybody was like, I think Drake Greenwell was like, oh yeah, it was whatever. You know what I mean? Like pretty much brushing it off like it was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But when they asked Fred Warner was like, yes, it was great. You know what I mean? Like that's why I wanted him there. Almost like Fred Warner was the guy that went up, hey, Kyle, you need to make that motherfucker stand on the fucking sidelines, get this shit in check. You know what I mean? Like he needs to fucking break his foot off in some of these DBs' asses. You know what I mean? Or something. I don't know what it was. Maybe you need to get down here so Coach K can tell him to fucking run the right plays. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it is, but it seems like I have this feeling. I might be tinfoil hat in here, but I think Fred Warner was the catalyst to Steve Wilkes coming to the sideline.
Yeah. According to Ryan Hensley, he heard some rumblings through the grapevine that the players were not too thrilled with him being up in the booth for whatever reason, and not sure why. But I mean, we all do know that the 49ers defensive players are used to having their D coordinator on the sideline. So that's what they're used to. That's what makes them feel comfortable. That's what inspires them to go out there and make big plays and play better. So be it.
I think it's also who holds them accountable. I don't think they need to be talked up. I think they need to be told when they're doing wrong and they need to be put in place. I feel that's the thing, because any great player loves to be coached. And when you're not being coached and things are going wrong, you get mad because you want somebody to tell you what to do to fix it and make it stop, because your pride's out there and it's getting trampled on. So I kind of think that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. How about those 5 sacks that we got, man? That was nice to see.
Yeah, finally, man. Nick Bosa looking like Nick Bosa.
I was saying on Friday before the game on my show with Raj, I was like, with the addition of Chase Young, don't be surprised if we see the old Nick Bosa that we're used to seeing again. The guy who gets after quarterbacks.
Now, I believe Ted told me something that they were ranked in like the 20 somethings, maybe like early to mid 20s as far as offensive lines in the league. So it might not be the same going up against other people, but at the same time, that doesn't mean it can't. Because
we went against other shitty offensive lines this season and didn't get 5 sacks. No. So
I think we'll be fine against other offensive lines, because if you notice, we actually have freedom now to rest guys. Like there was a drive where Clelin Ferrell and Randy Gregory were out there, and Bosa
got a sack.
Yeah, Ferrell got a sack. Good for him. I'm happy for him. He's been good against the run all year. Actually, hadn't been getting after the quarterback, but he's been good against the run. He got himself a sack. I'm happy for him. But there was a drive where Nick Bosa and Chase Young were on the sidelines for the first 2 downs. And then once it was 3rd down, those guys walked on the sidelines and they were rested. So I was like, okay, cool. We have room to rest certain players that are pretty damn good. And we still have somebody good playing in front of them, if need be.
Yeah, I can't wait to see them feast on freaking Baker.
Baker, you good, Bosa? Hey, can you put up on Fired Up 49ers comment? That's really good friend of mine living up in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, I brought that same thing up last week, but since I didn't play football, people didn't want to, take what I said for anything.
Poor Mariah. But that's from Fired Up 49ers. Good buddy of mine says, it takes too long to relay a message from the booth to someone. on the field to relate to a player. The game is too fast for that. I got you. On the field is better 100%. So shout out to my boy Fired Up 49ers and Mariah for bringing that up before the game started. She brought it up, she said. So that's cool. And yeah, that makes sense. I mean, and also another thing that makes sense is that yeah, there people. Some people were like, "Well, it doesn't matter about the communication because the players have the phone that they can pick up and talk to the coach." And it's not the same. It's like, I mean, there's times where Steve Wilks can talk to the 2 or 3 DBs all simultaneously rather than just talking to one guy on the phone. And sometimes, what they were saying was that the players don't always have the confidence to reach up and grab the phone. They don't want to seem like a grunt. But in person, it just seems more natural to go walk up and ask a question or say something. So I'm for it.
Well, also, like if I got 4 people, right? Like we're just getting our ass kicked, right? I got to go talk to 4 people. If I talk to all 4 of them at the same time in the same place, we might get to a better conclusion than if I talk to them all separately. Because one might not know exactly what's going on. They just know something's wrong. The other ones might have an idea. You can place them all together, put in there. The guy who didn't know what was going wrong might have an idea on what to fix it. He just doesn't know what the problem is right now. You know what I mean? Like if you get everybody in front of you, it's better to come up with a plan than talking to everyone one by one. The phone isn't like you ain't got like party chat line and shit where everybody's hopping on and okay, team meeting. I see how it could be better this way. Also, like we weren't doing a lot of press man before this, and all of a sudden we're doing press man again. At some point, I think Kyle put his foot down and was like, look, we're going back to the press man and we're doing the stunts up front because that's how we put it in their butt.
In the butt.
Statistically, Trevor Lawrence struggled big time against man coverage against all the teams in the league this year, basically. But against zone, he was actually tops in the league, believe it or not. So I was hoping they would run some man coverage because it looks like he may have had opportunities to eat us up alive if we were in zone coverage because he does exceptionally well against the zone. So that was good that he switched it up.
It's good. That's good.
But we need to keep the press man, especially on 3rd and long. We need to keep the press man. We can switch up between zone and man on 1st and 2nd. That's cool. Keep them honest, but we can't be letting them have cushion on 3rd and long. We can't let them have cushion. That's not okay. Let them sit in between our zones. That's not okay. We can't be playing games like this. This is giving quarterbacks outs, which is making it so our defensive line is not getting any production. So come on, Steve. Let's not forget this. We all were like, hey, he plays press man. We're drafting guys for press man. Hey, we're going to play a lot of press man. How much press man have we really seen?
Very little.
Very little. We need some press man.
And how about that meeting at the quarterback that Bosa and Chase Young had? And that was a thing of beauty. And hopefully we see more of that. And Bosa, earlier in the game, he batted down a pass, and then he had a great move to just swipe the ball out of Trevor Lawrence's hand. And I think we're going to see a lot of that. They said that race to the quarterback that Chase Young said, and not just the performance on the field, but Chase Young and Bosa next to each other are like 2 peas in a pod. Chase Young says he's like an older brother, and the camaraderie and the competition, and Chase Young is just a physical specimen. He doesn't have that crazy array of moves that Bosa has, where he does all this stuff with his hands, and Bosa's willing to teach him all that. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that guy does everything off of just getting off the ball quick and following the play. Essentially, he, smart enough to go after the guy who's got the ball, and he just gets around the corner. Not to say that that's all he does, but that's essentially what he's working with. He doesn't have an arsenal. He's not like the professor that Nick Bosa is. Hopefully he does the same little practices that Nick Bosa does. His little, his side scissor. Just keep practicing your side scissor, bro. I used to do that type of stuff warming up for wrestling. I would practice doing my moves, and it's just the small little version close to the chest. You couldn't see what I was doing, but I was getting my hands ready for the motion. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just getting the hands ready for the motion, getting it warmed up, getting ready to snap this move. And that's what you see Nick Bosa doing all the time. He's just getting his wrists lumbered up, getting them ready to go so it feels all nice and warm so you can just bang, attack. I'm telling you. You like my sound effects? My natural sound effects?
Yeah, I do,
Crash,
man.
bang, boom.
You don't even need the damn thing.
I don't need the soundboard. Boom.
Somebody had put out there, like had questioned, if we should pay Chase Young. And I know it's after only one game, but if this is something that we can expect to see the rest of the season, I think they need to figure out a way to pay him. Other teams seem to be able to figure it out how to pay everybody. Especially, if this is like what we've been looking for opposite Nick Bosa since Dee Ford. Like we saw a little glimpse of what it could possibly be, and then it seemed like Dee Ford was busted up ever since. And it seemed like they're constantly trying to find, okay, who's going to be opposite Bosa? Nope, this person doesn't work. Nope, this person doesn't work. A slew of people, they brought in and out rotation. And it's like, if this can finally be the guy, obviously we know it worked in college, right? We've seen it work one game, but like you said, their offensive line was this, that. If we see that this kind of production through the rest of the season, you have to find a way to pay him.
I totally agree. I'd love to bring this guy back. You don't find guys like that every day, and even in the draft. And we're terrible with our third round picks, and we had a good amount of third rounders this year, and we were willing to give one up because it was just so easy.
We got him for a bag of balls.
So we basically
and we were
got
never
for free.
Shitty enough to draft back to back second twice. In the second spot twice to get both.
So
of them,
we're fortunate to get a player like this with that third round pick that we do nothing with anyways. So find out, assuming he performs, I think he will. Find a way to keep him around. It's just gonna, and you see how happy Bosa is. If we're gonna make Bosa happy like that and make Chase Young happy, why not? Let's do it.
So I got a question because there's talks that the 49ers are gonna try and get Brandon Ayuk and Hufanga. Now I know you can't. Hufanga's gonna cost less than what a defensive end would, but would you keep a Chase Young over Hufanga, who really hasn't been showing up much this year?
You're making it hard, man. Hufanga's one of my favorite players.
I look.
I would figure out something else. Like Eric Armstead's getting old; he can go.
Armstead makes a lot of money too. We can replace Armstead.
Well, now, yes, in theory we can.
We have Hargrave. You get 3 out of the 4.
Unless he retires, you are opening up a Pandora's box in dead cap money. I'm just saying.
Yeah. He's not gonna be free agent until 2025.
All his money is pushed down the road that he isn't expected to get this year. It's all pushed down the road. He invested his money smartly. He's smart. He's handled. They push his money down. He doesn't give up. The issue is
exactly what. Look at James' last comment. There's other things to do that we don't have to make it about Hufanga and Chase. Like plenty of other.
I was thinking about Dee Ford's cap money.
How much is Dee Ford's cap money? What, $5 million?
But sure. That's the least of the things that he said. Trent's going to be gone. Juice is old, needs to go. Like I said, Armstead, who gives a shit? You can say whatever about his dead cap money. People get paid to fucking work this shit out, and it ain't us.
Well, that's something
people don't want to hear it, but George Kittle, there's people that out. I understand that, Ryan. But what I'm saying is there's other people to move around. I'm not a fucking idiot. I know about dead cap. What I'm saying, there's other people to move it around that you don't have to make it about just the people coming up for contracts, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, Dee Ford was averaging 17 million a year. I'm not sure exactly how much we're paying him this year, but it'll help to get him off the books. We have I'm not sure how much money we have. I know at one point we had 40 million of cap space. They are going to raise. They should raise the cap overall cap value for the teams in the NFL in general. So too that will also help. So hopefully that leaves us some room to toy around and play with the cap and move the numbers around and make things happen in our favor. So we shall see.
Especially with Purdy still on a rookie contract.
Oh yeah, that helps a whole lot. And how about this though? How about the return of Deebo Samuel and Trent Williams? What do you guys think?
Fuck. Trent Williams was lighting it up out there. He said he was like 75%. Like you could barely tell. He was like he
had that dude run away from him.
Yeah,
that dude ran away from him.
I've seen that before. I've seen that before. Point of POV, man.
I dealt with it. Yeah, when I played football too. Yeah.
Yeah. Those guys are. I creamed one guy, and then every other person just kind of ran out of bounds on me. They just like no
business decisions.
Yeah, which I totally get. Which I get now, but I was so annoyed at that time because I was like, I'm here to crush you. You know what I mean? Like. I've been sent to deliver.
That guy made a business decision against Trent Williams, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And he almost made the tackle. He almost made the tackle too.
It sucked because CMC had such a great burst of speed on that play too. There was a little bit better blocking down the road. He probably would have taken to the house. And there are a few times where he just looked so fast, explosive, but the full blocks weren't there down the field. And we know he didn't get a touchdown. I'm not gonna trip too much off of him not getting a touchdown. 16 carries, 95 yards. 5.9 a carry was pretty damn good, and CMC is always going to be CMC. And I'm more worried about what the team does in terms of wins and losses and all that. But it would have been nice for him to get that record, but I'm not tripping off it too much.
I wish he could have got it too. Like on Juice's touchdown, I'm like, seriously, like Juice is out there scoring touchdowns when we need CMC to score.
Well, but at the same time, Juice never gets a frickin' play. You know what I mean? Like. Even CMC afterwards is like, I can't hate on Juice getting a touchdown because he never gets any.
Well, usually I'm rooting for Juice to score a touchdown, but not when it comes to breaking such a fucking record like that. It's going to take for somebody to be able to break that shit again.
I was on with Ted earlier, and Ted was didn't like the fact that they put him back in after they took him out. And I was like, look, I kind of get what you're saying, but at the same time, he was out all the way until they got down there, and then they're like, get in there, which I'm okay with. You know what I mean? Like it just in that, and it's not like they were pounding him up the middle over and over and over and over and over again. It was they were working him around. He was in space, which is it's better for as a health standard. That's the health wise, it's better. So. Let's talk about Jacksonville, or not Jacksonville, but the Bakerneers.
Oh, really quick, I want to talk about one play from the Jacksonville game, really quick, that we missed. The Ayuk touchdown, because I know some people were like, "Oh, he shouldn't have thrown it there, and it would have been picked off, and that was dangerous, and that wasn't smart."
Even Shanahan said he shouldn't.
Supposedly Shanahan was pissed, but I'm sorry, man. I love it when I see Brock Purdy have the confidence to run circles around the defense and still make the throws. And they say he doesn't have a strong arm, but yeah, he finds a way to zip it in, over the DB's hands and just get it in there, man. And it's like, I'm seeing some Brett Favre and Brock Purdy, man. You can call him Brett Favre, Brett Purdy or Brock Favre, whatever you want to call him. I mean, I like this confidence in him, and I'm sure it's not good for him to do it, 20 times a game or anything like that. But at certain moments in the game, certain spots in the game to do it every now and then, fine, man. Be that gunslinger, be that risk taker.
Not in the playoffs or the Super Bowl.
That end zone camera, the end zone camera didn't make it look as scary as it did during the game. Like, I think from the end zone camera, once that came out, it looked like, Purdy got it up over the defenders enough that guy wasn't going to ever reach it. Like, he made it perfect, somehow perfectly got it to where only Ayuk was able to get his freaking long ass arms, up and make that catch. And that's what we got to have Ayuk for. Shit like that. Like, finally, like, go ahead. Like, all we heard up into the draft, everything is Ayuk's arms. It's like, we never got to see him ever use them. So who gives
Yeah.
a shit how long they are? But no, finally now we can. So we have a quarterback that'll put it up and trust him enough to go up and get it.
James has a
Oh,
great
yeah.
point here. I hated that play, but on the other hand, if you beat that out of Purdy, he'll lose his magic. I don't want Alex Smith 2.0 where he'll be scared to throw into windows, keep the confidence up. Yeah.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, definitely.
Think it's a good point, but you know, at some point you got to kind of hone it in and explain you're going to do this, right? Like we haven't seen those passes be inaccurate yet, right? So once he starts getting inaccurate, you got to figure out what's making him inaccurate and being like, look, you got to set your feet or you got to do this before you throw that. You can't be doing that. You can't be making these plays if you're not going to follow through with all the steps, bro. And that's the criteria. If you can't if you can't plant your feet, let's say that's the issue. If you can't plant your feet and throw the ball, follow through, then you just need to throw it out of bounds. Okay. That's all I'm saying. That should be
And,
kind of keep some reins on him, you
and
know,
shout out to all the Niner fans that took over that stadium, by the way.
Hell yes.
bro.
Man.
Yeah.
Also, I heard that there's bug netting and such, or bug net zones or whatever. So a lot of the Jacksonville fans hang out in
Yeah.
those and you can't see it. But still, doesn't matter. I saw something today. They were ranking NFL fans
Mhm.
about like showing up to attendance to games and stuff like that,
49ers
home
are
and
number
away.
one.
Yeah, 102%. And guess what the
Mhm.
Rams were at? The Rams were at 100%. And I was like, a bullshit. That is a fucking lie. It's only at 100% when we show up because most of us are there. 70, 80% Niners. That's the only reason why that thing's filled at that point in time. They can't fill that thing. Ain't nobody give a shit about LA. Sorry,
Baker, you good?
I feel bad about. Yeah. Yeah, what do you think's going on with this game? I hear something like Baker might not be playing or something about his thumb.
Really?
Oh, I haven't
Yeah,
heard that.
I didn't hear
that's
that.
the whispers. I don't know.
Hmm.
Maybe he's
mean,
I
just
just heard that
scared.
today.
I mean, they still got Mike Evans. And Mike Evans is a
Business
pretty.
decision.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who their backup quarterback is. That's good that you brought that up because I have to pull up their roster.
James says
you know,
his thumb's fine. He read up.
Okay, thank you, James. So it will be the return of the flag. Revenge of the Flag 2.0.
Plant that bitch.
Yeah. Now you got two guys on the field that want your ass for that.
Mhm.
right,
Let's go.
They do, yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And I hope they do.
Perfect timing.
I can't stand that guy.
I know. God. You know
You
what
can't
I
stand Baker
do?
Mayfield?
I appreciate so much that he finally had got his ass out of Cleveland, so we didn't have to see those fucking commercials about him living at the stadium and him doing laundry and cutting the grass with the scissors and all this shit. Like,
I'm glad I
oh my
didn't remember
God.
these commercials.
Like non-stop those freaking commercials would come on during the games, and so nice that since he got booted out of there that nobody wants him in commercials anymore.
Yeah. For the season, Baker Mayfield's got 2,143 yards and 14 touchdowns and 5 interceptions for all it's worth.
Did you notice how well he could act like a normal human being in those commercials?
Yeah.
Like that's not his regular personality, but he can act like that for some good ass money though. I'll tell you what, boy. That's why, thought about it one time. I was like, wait, an actor married to another actor. No, I did not have sex with that woman. No, I did not have sex with that man. You get paid to be able to act. You know what I mean? Like when I figured that out, I was like, man, that must be a crazy life right there.
That's not a good relationship.
Acting in bed, you never know if it's real or not. And
you got to have the yin and the yang in a relationship. You can't be a doctor can't marry a doctor. So.
Or what happens if you get too caught up playing this part and then you lose yourself? Oh, sorry.
Mhm.
Jokes.
20.
Yeah. What's your guys' thoughts? Real quick, what's your guys' thoughts on the Jacksonville Jaguars? And they'll get your predictions and we'll get on out of here.
Not the Jaguars. We've already talked about
Sorry.
that.
The
They're both from
Bakerneers.
Florida.
The Bakerneers.
I'm expecting a beat down. I'm expecting our defense to take care of Baker. I know obviously they have weapons on the offense, but if your quarterback can't get him the ball, those weapons, don't really fucking matter. So make Baker's life hell. I want to see him crying back there. And like Chase said, a race to the quarterback. This is another week of chasing the system. So, I'm just expecting that he'll get better in that as well. And the same, another week for Trent Williams to get healthier, for Debo, another week of Debo back. So I'm just expecting the 49ers to keep on rolling. And yeah, I'm gonna say, are we doing score predictions now or?
Yeah.
You can go ahead and shot it. Yeah.
All right. I'm doing 31-6 49ers.
Oh wow.
Chase
Okay.
it.
There you go, Mariah.
Fuck
Yeah, I
Baker.
mean, Mike Evans always scares me, regardless of who the quarterback is. He's just a beast at wide receiver. I mean, he's tall, he's got great hands, he can separate. 737 yards for the season so far, 6 TDs. Godwin's a pretty damn good receiver too. 522 yards for him. But I get it. The Baker factor, he's doing okay this year. Nothing spectacular, but he's doing all right. But he's only got a 4-5 record, and I just think our defense is back to what it should be now, and it's going to be getting better throughout as the season progresses, especially with the lineup change that we're making. Who knows if Womack's going to be inserted or not, but the fact that Oliver is not in the field, make us look stupid. That's a huge plus. But we're gonna have our work cut out. I get it. Mike Evans is a beast at wide receiver, and the running back is okay. Rashad White, he's not too bad. And on defense, they got Vita Vea, who's a total stud up the middle. So we do got to worry about Vita Vea. I get that part. Shaq Barrett's not bad, but I think that this Niner team, man, we're due for a big win at Levi's. The last time we played Levi's, we didn't do too hot, and I see us coming out, man, firing out on all cylinders. Yeah, let's say 35-13 Niners. There you go.
I like it. And real quick, don't forget that Purdy's already beat the shit out of these Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by the GOAT, Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't put up shit or do shit against the 49ers. So, I'm not expecting that Baker is going to lead them anywhere better.
Yeah. They've got talented wide receivers, but like already stated, they don't matter if your quarterback's in the dirt. I don't think Baker will always be in the dirt, but he's going to be under duress. My score prediction, and it's not because James, but I was going to be 34-9.
Oh
no,
that 40 burger.
49.
Oh, 34-9. Okay.
34.
Ryan's writing down the predictions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Penciling it in.
I think we're going to negate their whole offense for the most part. And then, yeah, our offense will go down multiple times and stand in their end zone, and their ship will be silent. Ooh, shout out to Bryant Culp. Mitch Wisnowski has also seen the Bucks. Yeah, Mitch Wisnowski has also seen the Bucks. Yes, Mitch might not have too much work to do tomorrow. Which
9-0.
We like Mitch. You know what I'm saying? We like Mitch, but he never gets out on the field on a good day. Or you know what I mean? That's kind of sucks is when you got a good team, you even like your punter, but you don't want to see him out on the field a lot. It sucks. But with that, anybody else got anything else they want to bring up or want to let everybody know what you got going on?
Just Fridays got Ball with Bash and Ted at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Got my show with going on with Raj from RSF 49ers. So got those 2 previous shows going on. It should be a lot of fun. On the
Is that all you
49er
got
Money
this
YouTube
week?
channel. Yeah, for now.
Tomorrow, me, TL. What time? 3, I think. 3 Pacific time. And then Thursday, me and Steph at 3 Pacific time. So easy this week. 3 and 3.
Easy peasy. And he said anything else? I do run post game shows on Sundays after the games. It's just sometimes it's an hour after the game or 2 hours. It just depends. So just keep noted on my Instagram or on my Twitter to when I will drop my post game shows. So.
Oh, and tomorrow we have Twin on with us as well.
Oh, shout out to Twin. Yeah, Twin's awesome.
See, I thought you were going to have a guest by the way you said it, but you didn't say anything. You said 3 afterwards. And I was like, oh, okay. Just waiting for, like, it sounded like somebody was coming on. Do you have a guest for Thursday?
We do. Coach Desi.
Yes.
She usually goes on with Eric Crocker.
I think I've seen it before.
Yeah.
Mariah,
so me and Steph have her on with us.
The 2 goats, they like to make sure they got a female content creator from the other fan base to go, which I personally like, because we need to see more faces that aren't like mine in the community getting around. And like your guys' show on Thursday is awesome, so make sure everybody checks that out.
Appreciate it.
I got the rivalry tomorrow with Joe Stevens on his channel at 6 o'clock. We got Corey Stevens Pick'em show right after that at 7. Corey and I will be streaming the Thursday night game, and we might be on Beto's channel, or we might be on Beto or Jess's channel, or something going on for the Friday show. So make sure to check us out. Other than that, we're out. Thanks for all.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah,
take care.
The chat. Thank you for
Thank
coming.
You, chat.
Guys are fucking banging.